Hello everyone and welcome to another Gran Turismo video. In this video, which I've been guessed by the thumbnail or the title, we're going to see how good Gran Turismo models actually are in the game. Now, they do get a good reputation, to be honest with you. Gran Turismo really do focus on the details, a lot of comparison between games, but how good is it? Well, I don't really fully know, and we've got the perfect opportunity to find out. Because a few months ago, a fair few months ago now, I bought this. This is the PSVR2. I've been using it every single week in the time trials. And I've been using it quite a lot, actually, to be honest with you. So there's VR content every single week. Like, you sit inside the cockpit, you can see around the car, and you get a good idea of the design of the cars and what it potentially feels like to be in that car. So how do we know whether they're realistic or not? Well, there's a car in the game that we can actually really compare to, like for like. And it's my own personal car. So I own a Nissan 370Z, and the Nissan 370Z is in the game right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare like for like. I've taken some footage from my 370Z. I'm going to jump onto PSVR2. We're going to have a look at the same sort of footage, same areas of the car, and we're going to see how good that actually is. We'll also have a look at the sound to see if it sounds any similar or whether they got sound completely wrong. And then I'll talk about the actual driving physics of the car, because I have driven the car a little bit in anger. I'll say my car. Remember, I did do GT Academy and we drove 370Zs there, so I do know how they feel. I had done B-road blasts in my car because I enjoy the car. You know, you can go out and have a B-road blast. If you don't know what that is, in the UK, we have B-roads, little country roads. You can stay within the speed limit, but lots of twisties. You can have some fun, and it is a great enjoyment of driving in the UK if you can get a clear bit of road. Without further ado then, let's jump directly into PSVR2 first, and let's have a look around the Nissan 370. Interesting. Right. Okay. So here we have the Nissan 3. Do you know what? It's amazing to look at this because it's like looking at my car in real life. The only difference I can see straight off the bat is down at the bottom. I can't actually point. I wish I could point right now, but down at the bottom there isn't a GT edition essential sticker, which is actually an official model, by the way. I haven't just randomly added this sticker. Other than that, it does look so uncanny. Now we can move forward here a little bit. Now, I wonder if the pearlescent paint is there. This is interesting. Oh god, this is so weird because it's like looking at my car. I can't tell in this light. So what I'm looking at here then, because I'm going to take over myself, is this pearlescent paint. Now, if you look at this here, look how nice this is. Now, in person, it's even better. Obviously, a bit dirty there from driving, etc. But the pearlescent white paint is amazing. Now, I couldn't quite see it in PSVR, so it's definitely not there. Maybe I can paint it that color, I'm not too sure, but it's definitely not there in this situation. What we're going to do next is actually look at the wheels, because this is where the amazing detail of Gran Turismo just completely blew my mind as I do something crazy with PSVR here then. So if we focus down on the wheels now, notice the text there on the inner side of the alloys, okay? You can see it right there. Now, driving this car in Gran Turismo, you would not see this, okay? You can see it down there at the bottom as well. Yet they've put it in. And guess what? It's there on the real car. You can see it right there as we go around. It's got Raised ENG and we've got Forged at the bottom. I find that amazing. It's actually amazing to put that level of detail in here then. So what we are looking now at is the wheels on the rear of the car. And you'll notice that they look very much out of the car there, you know, very much further out of the car. They're not inside the alloy, or inside the wheel or body of the car there. So what I've done here is gone to the real life footage then. If we look towards that left hand side, you'll notice it's much more in. So it's like they've got spacers on in the game to actually force the wheels a bit further out. Maybe the car they modeled has that, but from stock, I believe this is what it should be, and not that there. So we're going to look at the rear of the car now, and this is different to my current car, I guess. If you look just where that brake light is at the top in the center there on my car is a rear wing, and it isn't there on this one. Now, this could be due to the fact that this is the GT edition and the car they've done is a slightly different edition. However, that spoiler actually does make a bit of a difference, in my opinion, in terms of the look. It looks a lot better with that spoiler. We go to the left-hand side of the car then, and again, it just looks so uncanny. This is literally like looking at my car through PSVR. Honestly, it's insane, and it makes me have a positive experience here because that means that all the other cars I look at are very realistic. So Gran Turismo have done a fantastic job here in terms of modeling the 370Z. So I can only assume all the other cars are the same, as I've just said. There is the front of the car then. We just did a little shift there to the real car. I love this car, by the way. It's my favorite car I've ever owned. It's been a fantastic car there. And there you can see, look at that. Even at the front there, where it's got those fins inside where the radiator, the air goes, again, modelled absolutely spot on. Fair play to Gran Turismo, Polyphony Digital with this. We're going to jump to the interior now and my live reaction to the interior. Here we are inside the car, which is Oh, this is insane. Right, okay, what we're going to do, let's start off with the dash. Now, I have to sit down about here. Lowered myself a little bit here just to get into more of the seating position. I still feel too far back. I feel like I should be about... maybe. In the dial on the left is identical, as is the one on the right. It's got the mileage counter on there. Rev counter looks identical. So I'm going to jump to my live footage here and actually me commentating over it because the microphone just kept cutting out there just because I'm PSVR and I can't actually see where the microphone is. Now, it does look identical here. Look, you can see the center console right now as we go down here. Let's go back there and look. It's literally the same. It's insane. When I'm in PSVR 2 and it doesn't come across enough in camera, obviously this is all in 3D world. It feels like you are in the car, right? And obviously we're looking at a video right now. I can't tell you how insane this actually feels. And I mentioned it just before. This gives me such a positive experience of PSVR 2 and what I'm experiencing right now, because I know this is very much like my car, that looking at other cars like the Pagani Zonda, etc., yeah, I just have like big like excitement vibes there. Obviously, I'm in a different type of car here. This is semi-automatic versus a manual gearbox, which you can see right there. But obviously, semi-automatic for real-life driving in real-life situations. Right, what we're going to do now is jump to some exhaust notes, and let's see if it sounds identical as it does in real life. Right, so here we have the engine. You might hear the rumble, but here we go. So very much you can hear the raspiness there. That is very common with these cars, and I do love the noise of this. We'll just listen to it once again. Just keep note of that raspiness. But that's it in real life. Let's tune in the game. Now you get a bit of the raspiness there at the very end, but obviously we're revving a bit more here. It does very much go digital there at the end. Let's just listen again. Yes, you can definitely hear the raspiness there of the car in terms of as it gets to the real low point. But as you go further up that rev range, it gets very much more digital. And I don't think that sounds anything like the real car, in my opinion, from what I just heard. Yes, in the real footage, I didn't go all the way to the top of the revs because it's my real car and you could damage it, etc. I don't want to really do that. But even so, there's definitely a difference there in terms of sound. What we're going to do now is talk about the driving side of this car, because does it feel like it does in real life? You know, I've talked about B-road blasts already, and I have driven a 370 on track in anger in GT Academy. So does it drive how I expect it to drive in the actual game itself? So here we are at Goodwood Motor Circuit. We're going to head towards turn number 1. This is my fastest lap of a little session I did just to experience this car a little bit more. Now, of course, I drove it recently on the time trial. You notice there, I instantly got a little bit of oversteer under braking. Now, this car is a weighty car in real life. Now, when you do go hard on the brakes, I've never really felt it oversteer that much on a track, on a B-road blast, whatever it may be. I've never really felt it oversteer that quickly from braking, so I don't think it's that realistic in that regard. Now, the reason for this, I expect, is to do with Gran Turismo's physics in terms of weight transfer, and I experienced quite a lot through here on this particular corner, going from right to left. And again, there you're seeing a little bit of understeer, which is what you should expect here, but also there was a tiny bit of oversteer in there. We're going to come to this right-hander now, hard on the brakes as we go into here. And again, notice how I'm fighting the car as I go into the corner. I've never once experienced that, either on circuit or alternatively on a B-road blast. Now, you don't expect it on a B-road blast because you're not actually going this crazy and this hectic on a public road. But when you're on circuit, I've never really had that feeling either. Now, it's nice to see the gear shift light up there in the center of the rev counter there. That is realistic in terms of what is in the car. But I think the biggest issue for me is the weight transfer. It's a bit too extreme, and this is Gran Turismo's physics in a nutshell. The weight transfer is a big thing in this game, and it actually can cause advantages as well as disadvantages, and it does take away some of the realism of driving this car. Even so, it was quite fun to jump into this car. It felt very unusual, actually, because obviously in VR, you're sort of like, whoa, okay, I'm driving this car in real life, and now suddenly I'm racing around the circuit. Right, what we will do, though, is jump to this standing start, because this is what interested me, okay? So on the 370, it's very hard to get a standing start right without the traction control light coming on. And as you can see there, we're getting a lot of wheel spin very quickly in first gear. It's one reason why the 0 to 60 time in this car is actually terrible in real life. So 10 to 60 is great, but getting that initial going, acceleration, very hard to do in this car. And we're getting that here, so that is realistic from that side. I did do a standing start in terms of using traction control, and the traction control light didn't come on the dash, which is a bit unfortunate. A bit extreme to ask for that, I know, but if we're going for realistic modeling, I would have expected that to show there, but it doesn't, I'm afraid. I will put some footage after this bit of footage on to show you that bit as well. So I was just testing the standing start here just to get a feel for the car in terms of how much oversteer was happening there. Now, these cars are actually deadly if you turn traction control off. You see a lot of crashes with these cars because of that. Also pointed down here, so on the start-stop, there's normally a light which says on. That is not showing on there, so something missed there as well. Now we're going into granular details here, and you could argue this is a bit too extreme, but the reason for that is because they've modeled everything else pretty perfectly, so it'd be nice if that was in my opinion, but it was so. It's still a very nice model, and I talked about that earlier on. So here is a traction control one, just to show you on the dash. The symbol does not show there, which is unfortunate. Again, it's just a nice little addition that you maybe expect to have when all this detail's gone into it. You may just miss that little bit, but even so, that's being very, very picky. So in terms of how good or bad are Gran Turismo 7 in terms of models, first of all, the models are insane. Like, it felt like I was literally at my car, inside my car when I was looking around it in PSVR 2. So absolutely awesome work there by Gran Turismo Polyphony Digital with what they've done there. In terms of the noises, and we've always talked about this with Gran Turismo, the engine sounds could be better. They really could. There's definitely improvement that needs to be done there, but I assume it's how they compress those files and get it so it can work on a console. That's my only assumption here, to try and get everything into the game. But yes, they definitely could be improved from that side. I only heard the raspiness at very, very low RPM there. And in terms of the simulation, the physics side of this car, it is a bit too weight transfery and then gets a bit too oversteery in terms of how this car reacts. There's also a license test with the 370, and even when I first did that, the rear would step out a bit too much. But we've had different physics models put in since that point, where we've had extreme weight transfer and no weight transfer. So I suspect on one of the models, this car will actually feel amazing, but currently on this physics model, it doesn't feel like good. That's going to be it for this video though, folks. I do hope you have enjoyed this slightly different video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, of course, on the channel, and do subscribe to the channel to stay in touch for all the latest content, guides, entertaining videos, and fun little ones like this as well. Big thank you for your support as always. Do check out my partners down below, and another video there to check out if you want to enjoy more content on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.